So, Lukasz, we have been talking about the interactions of monetary policy and fiscal policy, and you raise an interesting point. I want you to flesh out a little bit more. If we're in a world where we have big debts and are running large primary deficits, and the Fed raises interest rates to follow the Taylor principle, the Taylor rule, to offset inflation. There is a worry, though, that those higher rates will force the government to make higher interest payments. So it's fueling income into the economy, which then generates inflation. So the Fed, by following a Taylor rule, could actually generate inflation. That's one effect. But there's actually an offsetting effect, which could even be bigger, more dominant. Could you explain that?
Yes, that's right. So just with the short-term debt, exactly as you said, higher interest rates will mean higher interest payments from the government to the public. Now, to the extent that that consumers in this economy are non-Ricardian, they will take some of these interest payments and spend them, and that will fuel a boom in demand and therefore in inflation. And that is the counterintuitive channel through which tighter monetary policy can translate into higher demand and higher inflation. What is offsetting that effect is that in an economy with long-term debt, the value of the debt portfolio, when the interest rate is increased, goes down. And so when households make their consumption decisions on the basis of the value of the assets that they hold, and they see that value has dropped, then they adjust their consumption downwards, and the rise in interest rates has quite a standard intuitive effect of lowering demand and inflation. So on the one hand, I think our model is useful in analytically and providing the understanding of these different channels through which monetary policy impacts demand and inflation. But I want to make sure that I convey here that the quantitatively empirically relevant model of the world is the one where government debt duration is not just short term, but has some longer duration, and that provides the basis through which monetary policy can have standard conventional effects, i.e., raising interest rates via this value effect on the government bond portfolio can lower demand. And so, following on from that, the longer is the duration of government portfolio, the likely easier it is going to be for the central bank to control inflation that is driven by fiscal shocks. That's the conclusion from this analysis.
So that is a warning to the U.S. Treasury Department. Do not go completely short on duration. Make sure you keep some long-term securities out there for this effect to hold.